I, Betty Harris Howard, resident and voter of the town of Lebanon, Maine, on behalf of the committee to recall Jeff Adams, hereby submit a petition to recall Jeff Adams of Lebanon from his position as selectman, assessor, and overseer of the poor. Whereas Mr. Adams has had excessive absenteeism during his tenure, leaving the residents unrepresented and not serving in the capacity in which he was duly elected. Whereas Mr. Adams continually abstains from voting on town matters before the Board of Selectmen, recusing himself with no fiduciary reason to do so, again, not fulfilling the duties he was elected to do. Whereas Mr. Adams has on multiple occasions misrepresented the facts with regard to Maine School Administrative District 60 matters, including but not limited to the transparent budget process. We, the undersigned, move to recall Selectman Adams. And I would simply just like to add that Selectman Adams has been absent over 41% of all the full board meetings in 2021, and over the course of his tenure as selectman has been absent from full board meetings at least 38% of the time. For whatever reasons, we don't know whether they're good reasons, bad reasons, whatever, but if you're not able to attend the select board meetings and fulfill the duties to which you were elected, then we just ask you to step down and deal with whatever else is going on that's preventing you from attending the board meetings and fulfilling your duties as an elected officer. And since that's not happening, we're simply implementing the recall process.
I'm going to do an introduction of myself for the people out here that I don't know. My name is Jeffrey Sean Adams. I'm a physically challenged, honorably discharged veteran. I'm a Republican and one of the duly elected town of Lebanon selectmen. I am the former chairman of the Board of Selectmen. I'm also the former vice chairman of the Board of Selectmen. I am currently a federal inspector. I'm an essential federal employee, and I've worked through the China virus pandemic of 2020 in multiple states due to the nature of my job with multiple official agencies. I am also the former district commander for the American Legion. I am the current command sergeant major for the U.S. Veterans Reserve Corps for all New England Battalion, duly appointed. When I ran for selectman, my slogan was, I served our country honorably, and I will serve our town honorably. I have served this town of Lebanon and the people of Lebanon honorably since day one. I was duly elected as a town selectman. So I'm going to answer the charges of excess absences. As stated in my job description, which I worked through the pandemic, I was subjugated to multiple quarantines under federal and state law. And under state law, I was able to attend and vote in whatever, watch the meetings. I did. Most of them, former Selectman Queen Nicole knew that. And then the ones they're talking about recently, and I, and that's fine. And also they knew this. My wife was in the hospital. I was making funeral arrangements for her. She passed twice. And then on top of that, not too long after that, I myself got the COVID virus, the Delta variant, even after I've been vaccinated. Again, the people behind the recall all knew it. And as far as the charge of a voting abstention, I did abstain from votes on a few occasions because of fiduciary and perceived we have an ethics policy for the town. It was in as soon as I became a selectman. And under the ethics policy, I am required to, be ethical in all votes I do. So I did abstain from votes, which were contracts that were put into this town after I, as the chairman, pushed for non-bid contracts to be eliminated. And after I was the chairman, I abstained on votes for people that I knew that owned businesses that put in contracts for the town. And then I also abstained from votes in illegal investigations I was involved with the county and the state in regards to complaints that were brought before the town. I abstained from them votes as well. Former Selectman Cole knew that as well. And that is my duty as a representative, a duly elected representative, to protect the town and the people of the town. As for the school charge, certain people that brought this charge against me saw the same meeting that the outgoing superintendent told us there was $2 million absorbed into the budget that was an overpayment for the previous bond. I asked the question, why didn't that money come back to the town? By math, it was $667,000 should have came back to this town. And I called the state on it. I asked the budget committee as recently as last Thursday, and they said, it's not my job, it's your job. And when I did, I looked into it, the particular person and people involved all said I've been misrepresenting the budget. I asked the question because people asked me to ask the question. As far as I'm concerned, that overpayment to the school of almost $2 million should have come back to the towns that made the overpayment. Thank you.
First of all, I join with everyone who thanks Jeff Adams for his military service. I grew up in a military family and understand the sacrifices made, and I have no doubt that you did serve there honorably, and we appreciate that. You also stated that you have served the town honorably. I don't know how honorable service can be rendered with 41% absenteeism, especially in light of the modern technology of Zoom, free conference call, watching videos, anything. I have attended every town select meeting since June 17th, with the exception of 2, and Jeff Adams has only been present once, and at no time during those meetings do I recall him calling in, videoing in, or any other thing. I appreciate that your job requires you to quarantine to keep safe. Actually, I don't appreciate the thought behind that, because I think there's too much quarantining going on. However, there are many, many ways to attend a meeting without being physically present, and you've chosen, as far as we can see, not to do any of those things. The reason I haven't been involved in town politics for the last 21 years, up until June 17th of this year, is because I have commitments to my family and job commitments as well. And I know that if I were to take on a role of selectman or budget committee member or anything like that, I could not fulfill those duties responsibly because my higher commitments go to my family and my job. And we're simply asking Jeff, if that's your situation, then please step down from selectman since you're unable to fulfill your responsibilities. And since you've chosen not to step down, then we've had to enact the recall.
Ms. Farron, if I got her name correct, the reason I did that was because when I came in as a selectman, I figured some money was better than no money due to ability to collect it. That was the reason, Chris, that you answered, and also to answer Mr. Chris Kilpatrick. I don't think even up to that point I ever met the man or knew the man. I think I've seen the guy twice, maybe 3 times. So no, I don't know him personally, Chris. I know you better than him and so many other people that are out here better than him. So that's the answer to that question. I hope that at least helps you. Gentleman that just spoke, thank you for your service, and I do appreciate it. And I made every vote that mattered. A lot of people forgot when I came in here, we came in, we had to redo the whole budget over. Because the budget passed voters, but there was no money essentially to take from, so we had to do that, rewrite that. Every ballot question I was on.
Keep it up a little bit.
No.
There you go.
I made all the votes that had to absolutely be done. Not once was a resident of this town underrepresented, because every resident that brought anything to me, I acted on one way or the other. As far as Mr. Holdsworth talking about the conversations we have in private, I thought those were personal conversations, friend to friend, and if anyone say suspect to that, that's fine, he can do that, but he does work for the federal government, but he does not do what I do. I'm a federal inspector. I travel in multiple jurisdictions, multiple states, with multiple government agencies, with multiple joint task forces. So he does work there, but he does not do what I do, not even remotely close. I am subjugated to annual background screenings, checks, security clearances, and then semi-annual for different things. There's different things I am subjugated to literally every aspect of my life. So I still have my clearance, I still have my job, that's all I need to say about that. And some of the other stuff, I just want to touch on stuff. The prior recall, I lost a lot of friends that I genuinely cared about because I chose a side. And with the prior recall that took place, I was physically threatened, both me, my family, with both death and harm if I didn't vote a certain way. I got news for you. I've bit my tongue a lot, and that's hard for me to do, as a lot of you do know me personally. So I do my best to do that, but ain't no way I'm gonna vote. And the people behind my recall and the rest of the recall, some of the people physically threatened me to kill me and my family to vote certain ways. Ain't a chance in hell I would ever do that. Because that's what they want. Bottom line, this recall for me is they want my vote because they can't get it. I look out for the people of this town, not for a small segment of this town. I'm a Republican, and I still take the issues to the board of every registered political affiliation. I lost a lot of people on the last recall, people that I genuinely defended and
Keep that, that's good, because we can't hear you.
people that I considered friends. People that went around, hell, people that literally said I'd be a good selectman. People that go around that told me they love me and I'm a brother, stuff like that. It was just really hard for me. I never met Chuck Russell before the election. I'd never met Corinne Nicole. I met them when we all got elected. People they're talking about, I know some of them, I don't know any of them. This bothers me again, because I truly believe if this recall isn't gonna work, and it shouldn't work, because it's just nonsense. Within a month, I'm gonna be on a recall again because I'm bald and then I'm, old. That's literally what the recall allows people to do in this town. They want my vote, bottom line, because they could not get it by physical threat to me and my family or harm. That's the bottom line. Thank you.
Yeah.